Hi, everyone. Many of you know by now we just returned from our 5th trip to Alaska in the RV-10. It was a really wonderful trip this time. And our goal was actually to take the last of what we consider to be the 5 routes up into Alaska from the lower 48. We were able to accomplish most of that on this trip. That should enable everybody to see all the 4 or 5 trips that you can take. And so our plans are, in the next few weeks, we're going to put together a series of YouTube videos to share with those of you who might have that on your bucket list, and I think all of you should. And then we're also going to put that in a book over the winter months here, so we can put that out and you'll have a handbook to see how to get there. In this first video, what you're going to see is a first leg from Edmonton. Yes, we decided to start in Canada because we don't know how many different directions all of you might be coming from the lower 48. But we're going to show you the multiple inland routes from Edmonton. And the one that we took, we actually went through a more southerly route through the Rocky Mountains to Prince George and up the trench to Watson Lake and Whitehorse. Our initial intent was to go up to pick up the Alaska Highway at Dawson Creek through Fort Nelson and then into Northway. But fires, which are really prevalent this time of year, precluded that one. But the route we took is basically the same. A good part of Alaska and Canada, you're following roads and or streams through valleys. You're not going to fly over top of the mountain. So we're going to be sharing all of that with you and help you make some of your own decisions. Unfortunately, Oshkosh is going to get in the way of getting some of those videos out, which is a reminder, we're a week away from Oshkosh. So starting next Monday, I'm actually doing 3 presentations this year at Oshkosh. Monday will be pre-buys, and I believe that's at 11:30 in the Homebuilders hangar. And then condition inspections on engines is going to be Tuesday. That's also in the Homebuilders hangar. And I think that one, I forget the time, but we'll post the times in the video for you. But if you get there, you can just do, search on my name or look at Homebuilder hangar events. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to do the Flying Your Airplane to Alaska, which we're going to update it completely from last year with all new pictures, routing this year, etc. Yeah, that one should really be worth attending as well. It's actually exciting for me to talk about that one. And then I'm also...
That one is at 8:30.
That's at 8:30 on Wednesday in the Homebuilders hangar. And then I'll be doing the Tech Counselor breakfast on Thursday. So look forward to seeing many of you there. Please, if you see us walking around the ground, say hello. We'd love to put names with faces. And hey, it's the best time of year for all of us who are in amateur-built aviation, or actually any facet of aviation anymore. It's just everybody's up there, and we're very much looking forward to it. Hope the weather cooperates. Please be safe. AirVenture is a week long. Don't make any stupid decisions trying to get there. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy. So this little intro here is one of our favorite spots. It's at the Millennium Lakefront Hotel in Anchorage at the world's busiest seaplane base, Lake Hood. So we love to sit for hours, and you'll see float planes coming and going, sometimes 2 and 3 a minute. It just makes for a wonderful time. So here we are just leaving Edmonton, and you can see there's a highway off in the right-hand corner. There it's depicted on the map. There's our route out of Edmonton. And we're going to head over to the pass. The name of the airport and community there is called Entrance. And you can see the Rockies starting to come up here. We're still following this highway that we left Edmonton probably about an hour ago. It's kind of flat, not a whole lot to look at, but the fun stuff is just coming up right here. So you can see the mountain pass up there. And in a little bit here, you'll be seeing some of the views as we go through the mountain pass. So this mountain pass is not unlike the one that we would have gone through if we were able to get up to Prince George. Or not Prince George, but more up towards Fort Nelson and across the Alcan Highway there, the Alaskan Highway. So here we are, right at the entrance to this pass, and we were in it for about 40 minutes. And, we're seeing a lot of rocking here. It was a bumpy day, so it wasn't actually our flying, but the winds in these passes can vary quite a bit. We saw the winds coming from 5 knots all the way up to 37 knots, changing directions quite rapidly. It was probably, I would call, continuous light chop and then moderate turbulence. But it's a very safe passage here. You can see as long as you stay to the middle right side so you have time to turn around, it's really not that hard to follow these roads through the mountain passes and or the streams. We actually have ForeFlight up On the Canadian sectionals, you'll see on these mountain passes that are marked for VFR passageways, there are black diamonds. So you just follow the black diamonds, and you know, given the weather, if you go for a forecast with the clouds just at the peaks or so, you'll be fine getting through there. Every once in a while, you'll see a rain shower or something. We probably have one coming up here. We call them bug washes. They're not that heavy and not that hard, and if you can see through them, we'll go ahead and go through them. If you can't see through them, and you see terrain like this, it's really time to turn around. You really just don't want to fool around low visibility situations in the mountains here. You want to have forward-looking terrain turned off so you can see though, but you want to have it up and make certain that you're paying attention to which way you turn when you get to various points there, because it will in fact change on you.
And I want to make a comment here that these are actually combined photos as opposed to our video, because a bug got on the video and so we had to use the pictures instead.
Yep, good point. Here you can see one of the rain showers coming up, but you can see that we can clearly see through it. And so we're going to go ahead and go through this rain shower, clean some of the bugs off of the airplane that Carol mentioned. A lot of bugs up in the north, and it looked like we needed to do a weight and balance almost every time we landed. You can see you're doing a lot of low-level flying that you're not used to in the States. Here for most of the journey, we're about 1,000 feet above the ground. And your MSL altitudes are probably between 3,000 and 4,000 feet. Don't forget you are in mountainous terrain. And it just really is super enjoyable to go through this. And again, we apologize that this segment won't have a movie, but a bug got right on the lens. We actually had wing cameras, one taking stills and one taking movies on each side of the airplane underneath a wing. And sometimes we lucked out and sometimes we didn't. You can see the pretty blue skies. It's just really gorgeous. And the blue skies, white clouds really make for the best photography. You can see it goes on for a long ways. Sometimes the valleys are wide, sometimes they're narrow. Here's another rain shower coming up. Again, you can see it's not much of a rain shower and we can see through it, so there's no problem in continuing here. You want to pay attention to where the black diamond is. Sometimes the road will be up a little higher alongside of the hills because down where the river is might be a lot of marshland. So it's hard to put a road down there. And you just don't want to get caught following the road that might take you into higher terrain. Look at the black diamonds, and if it's shown following the stream, that's where you want to be. The water's usually at the lowest point. Every once in a while on this segment of the journey, you actually will see farmland, houses, etc. Some of the upcoming videos, we flew sometimes for 2.5 hours with no sign of civilization. This was a really pretty part of the journey. Again, this is in Canada. It's just a little south of Prince George, actually. This is a good VFR day, and you can see we have good distance between the terrain and the cloud top. So I didn't necessarily along this route just stay following the stream. We kind of split the two here so you could get a good view of where the road is versus where the stream is. And if you look carefully, you can see how much higher the road is than the stream. One of the other suggestions I would give you, This is actually a good day to get through here, and there are better days. Sometimes it's clear, and there are worse days when you're going to fly through this at maybe 500 feet or so. And when it's low visibility, slow down. Maybe even slow down 20 to 30 knots or 30 mile an hour if you're in a faster airplane. It'll do two things for you. It will allow you to turn around with a slower turn radius if you have to. It will give you much longer time to make that decision, and it will also burn less fuel for you. So if you have to turn around, you have fuel to get back. Always know your turnaround point, your bingo fuel. Make certain you're taking into account winds. As an example, in this portion of the leg, we had a pretty good tailwind, sometimes 14 knots here. So you don't want to get too far down the road and have to turn around, and there are no airports between you and where you took off from. We probably should set this to music for you. It'd probably be more fun to watch, but then I'd just be interrupting the music while I'm talking.
And what was the forecast that Nav Canada gave you for this?
Actually, we had a good forecast for this day, and that's a good point. One of the things we always do while we're in Canada or Alaska is, well, probably like many of you, we use ForeFlight all the time, find the briefings adequate. I find talking to the local weather specialists while you're in Canada and Alaska is a super good follow-on to your ForeFlight briefing. There's nothing like getting some advice from the locals. In this case, the weather briefer told us that going north towards Fort Nelson, Dawson Creek would not work, but he thought we could go due west from Edmonton, take this mountain pass, and get to Prince George. And he said we might get stuck a day in Prince George, but for sure we'd be able to get north within a day. And it worked out really well. He was absolutely right. It was bumpier than we expected, as I mentioned a little earlier, but you can see the scenery is so pretty, it's kind of worth putting up with. Here we're coming out of the valley now, and we're going to be arriving pretty soon here in Prince George. By the way, the little obstruction you see up there in the left middle side of the picture, right on the border, that's the pitot tube. I just quite couldn't get it out of the pictures. So here we are. We've been cleared to land on runway 24 at Prince George. So just to close out, this is what kept us going. We couldn't wait to get to the Millennium. There are some long days. There's a lot of territory to travel, so be prepared for some days with 3 and 6 hour flights. We break it up into 2 legs or so each day. But eventually you'll get there, and there's a prize at the end. Thanks for watching.